All right, guys, welcome back to the next episode of Unfamiliar Business Podcast. Today, we have the pleasure of having a good friend of mine, Mikey Martinez. He has 12 listings on Airbnb, and he started this journey a couple of years ago, and he's going to tell us all about it and all the ins and outs of Airbnb and real estate investing. I think you can introduce yourself a little bit better as well, so tell me a little bit about what you do.
All right, so my name's Mike Martinez. Like you said, I got 12 listings on Airbnb. I have several here in Miami, and I got 2 in West Palm Beach, which is about an hour north of Miami. I've been doing it for 19 months now. So,
Okay.
So it's been about a year and a half. I've grown pretty fast recently. I started off with my primary house. Me and my wife lived in for 5 years with our kids, and we decided to try it out, put it on Airbnb. So we moved to my mother-in-law's house. Shout out to my mother-in-law.
Yeah, there we go.
We put that one up first, and it started doing really well, man. What inspired me to do it was my neighbor. Actually, he had his efficiency in the side of his house on Airbnb. He was making like $2,500 a month, like a one bed, like a full size bed, a little kitchen, a bathroom,
little studio.
Yeah, so he was making good money on it. So I had another friend of mine. His name's Joel. He managed some Airbnbs, and then I just reached out to him, asked him about the business. He came over one day. He talked to me about it, and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna give it a shot. And it was a leap of faith because I have 3 kids. My wife had to agree to leave the house, and I know it was tough for her.
A lot of risk involved there.
Yeah. You got to have some risk tolerance to do it.
Some
So we did well. We started doing well, man. It was the house was generating $11,000 a month. And our expenses are low. We got the house for like $250 in 2016. So our mortgage was low.
Yeah.
And we started doing it, and it was going well. So I was making more money with that one house than me and my wife as teachers combined.
I mean, that's awesome, man. What a journey. That's awesome to hear. But I wanted to ask you, too, as you mentioned a little bit, you guys were teachers. So what did you do before getting into Airbnb? Was that your first, time being an entrepreneur or a business person or taking that risk?
The first time I had my own business was I ran a kids basketball league.
Okay.
So that was like my first, taste of like making my own money. And what happened was me and my wife, we're teachers, so we were living off a teacher salary. But I had the league on the side, and I would do summer camp also on the side with my brother, with a couple of my friends. And so when the pandemic hit, that league was gone. So I was still making my teacher money, but I didn't have that
source of income was
literally gone. So we went from living with that extra cash on the side to not having it anymore, and things got tighter and tighter. So that's when I was like, man, I can't live like this, So I tried it out, and it was working, and I decided I wanted to grow and do more.
That's awesome. Yeah. So I like to ask this question to every single person I have on and people I just meet in general, because it gives me a little bit about who they are and what got them to be where they are now too, right? Like the progression. So who were you when you were in like high school or middle school?
It was all about basketball.
All about basketball.
Yeah, I got 2 brothers. All 3 of us played basketball. My dad was a basketball coach. So I went to every high school in Miami. My dad coached that. I would play. And that's basically what my life was. I graduated from high school, and my freshman year I was on a basketball scholarship at St. Thomas University.
Okay.
And after a year, I gave it up. But I loved basketball, so I started coaching right away at South Miami High School. My good friend Coach Doc, he got me a job. He asked me to start working with him, and that's when I got into going to school to become a teacher.
Okay.
So I was in that for 10 years. I was at South Miami coaching for 10 years, and I was a special ed teacher. And then that's how I started my career, So.
Okay. What made you start the league? So you had access to being a coach there, so maybe that led you to say, let me make some extra money, or maybe let me help some kids. What made you get into like starting that first venture? Or
Well,
tell us a little bit about the first time that you started the league and
well,
you
what,
went through
what
there.
actually happened was I would referee before I started the league when I was just teaching. I would referee on the weekends, basketball and flag football. And I've just always been real curious, man. So like I was refereeing a flag football league on a Saturday. I think I was refereeing for like 8 hours out in the sun, and I'm looking. I'm like, bro, there's nonstop teams coming in here, like team after team after team. I'm like, this has to make crazy amounts of money. And I started talking to the guy that runs the league, and he was telling me about what he does. And he's like, yeah, this is all I do. I just run this league, and obviously he has his systems in place and stuff, so he's just there pretty much supervising. So I went and told Coach Doc, I'm like, man, we got to do a league. I talked to my friend Kevin, my brother. I'm like, we got to do it. So we just tried it out. I think my first league that we ran might have had like 15 teams. Yeah. But I made a little bit of cash, you know, and as a teacher, you don't make a lot of money. So when I had that extra money, I'm like, damn, let's try.
We can scale it. We can grow it. Yeah.
So the last league that I ran right before the pandemic, I think we had like 75 teams.
Wow.
Yeah, so it was doing really well.
Was that courtside or no? That was before courtside.
No,
courtside is
courtside is my brother.
Yeah, your brother. That's okay.
So his is an adult basketball.
Yeah, his is an adult basketball league, which
mine was kids.
Everybody's in it right now in Miami.
He's growing it really big.
He's growing it good. Yeah.
So yeah, mine was like that, but for kids.
For kids,
so I had different divisions from first grade all the way to high school.
Okay.
And
that's awesome.
And it did well, man. So that was my first taste of entrepreneurship right there.
That's awesome. Do you plan on going back to it or?
Nah, man.
Nah, you don't think so? You're done with it?
Not right. Unless I like buy a warehouse and build some courts and that maybe, but not like that.
So going back to the Airbnb and real estate investing, did you have somebody like when you were growing up that you looked up to or something that maybe did real estate, maybe was a real estate investor, or somebody that you read a book on or heard on a podcast that inspired you to say like Airbnb might be a way that I can make some extra money? Or
well, no, I was never really into real estate that much. When I bought my house with my wife, we fixed it up and all that, but it was all for personal use. You know, we built an addition, we put a pool, all this stuff.
It wasn't for an investment.
It wasn't for an investment. It was just to have a bigger house, have a nice yard that people can come over and all that. So I never really saw it as an investment. But I have a friend, Anthony, that's been an investor his whole life basically, and I remember I was like during the pandemic, right when Disney opened up, like I went to Disney with my family, and I'm like barely strapped for cash, I'm like, what am I even doing here, and I reached out to him and I was like, bro, I need to sit down with you and just like see your overall mindset of money, I knew he was always into something, but he was always doing well, and nothing, man. He just kind of took me under his wing, and I would go over his apartment and talk to him, and he would show me what he was up to, and I started shifting my mind. And then my cousin Eddie was like, bro, you got to read Rich Dad Poor Dad, which most investors do. Right? So I read Rich Dad Poor Dad, then I read Cash Flow Quadrant, which is his other book.
His other book,
And it just changed my mind. I was like kind of upset at myself, like, damn, how did I not see this? You know what I mean?
I feel a lot of entrepreneurs, when they have like that, they all have that shift in mindset, right? When they go from, not realizing the potential that could be made with money, and then all of a sudden it's just something that just clicks in your brain, and you see and you're like, wow, how did I not realize this before?
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
What am I doing? Like, and then that's when you start acting, and that's how you get, somebody getting 12 listings on Airbnb in the span of 19 months?
Yeah.
That's quick, and you see the possibility, and it just helps you grow quicker too.
Yeah. So and just surrounding yourself with like-minded people, you know what I mean?
100%.
Just having those conversations and realizing like you don't gotta live paycheck to paycheck and bill to bill. There's other ways to make money.
Yeah. When you surround yourself with people like that, it's contagious, right? If somebody like you can go into a room and you can propose an idea, and you're going to have two different types of people. You're going to have somebody that's going to say, oh, that's going to fail because of this. That's going to fail because of this. That's going to fail because of this. But you're going to have somebody else that's going to say, oh, we can make it work like this. We can make it work like this. So it's all about the feedback you're getting. And if you're with a bunch of people that are just creative and trying to find ways to make things work, you're going to make things work.
Yeah, I've had a lot of people say anytime you mention Airbnb to someone, but they're going to break your house. Yeah. But they're going to do this.
It's always a negative. It's like, but what about the positives?
Yeah, too, exactly. I'm like, I think with the money it's generating, I think I can fix that TV or, that couch that you're scared is going to break. Yeah. I'd rather do that than go work all day.
For sure. So tell us about so your first deal was your primary residence,
Yeah.
right? And then you got your neighbor's listing.
Well,
Correct.
no. So that was the most recent one.
That was the
So
most recent one. Okay,
the
so
second one I
yeah.
got was it's actually a couple blocks. The one I was telling you that's
Okay.
right down here from the studio
Okay.
in Wynwood. My wife's uncle,
Mhm.
Lewis, which is we do all the rental arbitrage houses together.
Yeah.
He's a process server for the court and for
Okay.
the court system, and he was serving an eviction right here.
Okay.
And so when he got there, the owner of the house was there, and he was telling him like, man, because of the pandemic, I can't get this guy to pay. He won't leave the house, whatever.
Yeah.
So he told him what I do. And the guy was like, oh, I might be interested in you guys renting out my house and doing that.
Mm-hmm.
It was like 2 months later, the guy hits him up. And he's like, hey, you guys still interested? And I was like, yeah, let's go check it out. So it's a duplex. And we got it. We rented it from him with permission on the contract. All the wording is there. All the
the legal work is done, so
it's
there's nothing that
that we're renting it to do that. And that was the second one we got. So that was in I started in January with my house. In May was when we picked up the second one. So I was going about 5 months on my house alone, and then I jumped into that one.
But tell the audience, because maybe a lot of people are not familiar with what rental arbitrage is. So tell them a little bit about what that is and like how it works.
So it's basically the same as if you go rent a storefront or you go rent a warehouse to run a business. It's the same thing, but with a house. And you're basically you're gonna go rent the house from the owner, and you're just coming to agreement with him that you're gonna do Airbnb. I showed him my listing, my house, how it's doing, and then you can do it different ways. You can pay a rent to him. You can do a profit split with him. You can however you guys agree. It's a business deal,
Yeah.
This guy, he's an older guy. He didn't want to do anything. He just said, I just want my money every month. I've been almost 2 years without receiving
I'm comfortable getting
a
tenant there that's gonna pay me.
Exactly. So we've been with him now for we just signed our second year with him, our second lease with him. So it's we've been with him for 13 months. We take care of everything, anything that breaks, anything in the house. That's the agreement. Yeah. The house is getting professionally cleaned twice a week most of the times. When a tenant lives there, you're just renting it out to a long-term tenant. It's probably never getting cleaned. Everything's getting fixed up, and so that was the second. That was the second deal.
The second deal, okay. Mm-hmm. And what do you look for in these properties or these deals that you get, whether it's rental or arbitrage or you buying your own deal, to say like this is a good property that's gonna perform well in Airbnb? Is it like a certain location or certain type of property?
Yeah, well, at first, I thought the location was important, but it's not as important as I thought, only because people come to Miami just to be. Everybody asks you about the beach.
Yeah.
Right. So what are the hot spots in Miami? Wynwood, Brickell, the Grove. Yeah. People from out of town don't really know about that. They know about South Beach.
Yeah.
They just want to know they want to know how close you are to South Beach. How long is it going to take to get there? So really, any of those areas, you just hop on the expressway and you're there. 15
minutes.
Yeah, but it is definitely a bonus that they're right here in Wynwood. They can walk to Midtown,
Art District.
Yeah. So what I look for is bedrooms, bathrooms, because the more people you can fit in the house, the more you could charge.
Yeah. More
people splitting the price, right?
Yeah.
So, I stay away from anything that's 2 bedrooms, 1 bathroom, like that. It just unless you're paying dirt cheap for it, it's not worth it for me. So most of the properties I have sleep between 12 and 14, 16 people. So that's the main thing. The other thing that
big groups can go and just
the other thing that I noticed moves the needle big time on price is having a pool.
Oh,
so all the houses,
that's one of your properties, right?
Yeah, that's the one in West Palm Beach. Yeah. I bought that one with my brother and my cousin Eddie.
Pool. Yeah.
So
that one's one of yours. That's not
that's actually that one we own, and that one does probably our highest grossing property.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah, our highest grossing single family home.
Okay.
Because I do have a triplex that does more, but it's 3 units.
Okay.
Yeah. So I like to have a pool. People want to come to South Florida and get in the pool.
Yeah.
So all the 4 that we own, they all have pools, like concrete pools, and then the ones that I rent, we put above ground pools in it.
Okay.
which
Yeah.
again, people from up north,
Still,
they just want to get
yeah,
in
they
some
just
water.
want to get in some water. Yeah,
Yeah.
especially down here with the heat.
Yeah.
I wanna, yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. And tell me a little bit about like one of your deals or something. Like how much you rent it for, how much you like put it on Airbnb, what's like the average a month that you can make on one of these like single family homes or one of these units that you have.
So, funny story. I was on Facebook, right? Like we were talking about
Uh-huh.
just being around the right people.
Yeah.
And I ran into some guy that has a. I just got a booking right now.
There we go. Making money.
So some guy I met on Facebook, one of these chats, short-term rental chats, whatever. He owned, I think it was 3 in Pigeon Forge in Tennessee.
Okay. Yeah.
So we were talking, and I had just started asking him questions. Like, this is when I first started. I only had my house, and he was like, "Oh, how much do you price your house for a night?" I was like, "Oh, $350 a night." He's like, "Man, you're leaving so much money on the table." Mind you, I'm like renting at $350 a night. Every single night of the month was booked, so I was making like close to 10 grand, whatever.
Yeah.
And he's like, "You're leaving so much money on the table." I'm like, "What?" And I'm coming from a freaking $1,500 paycheck. I'm like, "I'm rich. What are you talking about?" You know? And then he's like, "No, man." He's like, "There's a website called Beyond Pricing.
Okay.
You put your listing on there. They take 1% per booking, right? So they just 1% of whatever they book it for, but they price your house based on market data.
Yeah.
So all the houses in your area, you have a pool, how many people you fit, how many bedrooms, how many bathrooms, whatever." Man, I put my house on there.
And it just started going up
Bro,
like crazy.
It was like night and day, bro. It was like I started making like 15,000 a month.
Wow.
So this guy, like, I've never heard from the guy again. I think he was like sent from God or something.
It was just
I don't even know what his name was or nothing, but he put that in my mind. Boom, I took off with that. So basically it's based off market data. So like the same house that somebody might rent for 3 nights, $2,700 on a Friday, Saturday, Sunday, that house might rent for $800 Monday through Thursday.
Yeah.
Because of, because the weekdays less, supply and demand. It's just
But on average a month, for example, for that house, so you might get like 14,000 a month for.
Yeah.
What would you like pay for rent? Like if you're doing the arbitrage for that one, would be like around how much?
It depends, man. So like this one here that I have in Wynwood, I was paying him $4,000.
Okay.
He raised the rent a little bit. It's like $4,500 now. Okay. So
you're still making that's great amount of profit.
Yeah, it's still making good money. And and then just to furnish the house, because you get the house empty, obviously. To furnish it, depending on how big it is, 4 or 5 bedrooms, a couple of bathrooms, might cost you anywhere between like $12,000 and $18,000. Yeah. That's the initial investment. Mm-hmm. You make that money back in a couple of months.
Yeah, 2-3 months. You're
exactly, and then after that, you're just
pure profit.
Yeah. So, but that was the price I was getting a year and a half ago. Now everybody, they hear you want to do Airbnb, they want to jack up the price, and in some cases you can still make good money. Yeah. But in some cases, I got into one recently that's it's a little tight.
Yeah, they want to charge you a premium just because you're doing Airbnb.
Yeah, and but you win some, you lose some. Do.
I was gonna ask you about, because I've seen a lot of people talk about Airbnb like online and stuff, and the majority of the time they're always talking about the benefits and how easy it is and this or that, but I'm sure it's not easy. Like anything, it's probably not easy. There's problems you've probably had. Yeah. There's step backs that you've had, stuff that you thought was gonna perform this way that didn't. Yeah. That you had to fix or something. So what were some of the problems that you've had, or some of the things that you've had to like work around or fix?
I think what people don't realize is that you have guests coming in, right? To you, it's like your house and another guest. But what you have to realize is these are people coming to Miami maybe for the first time. They've been saving money for who knows how long. They're super excited, And so they come to your house with full of energy. Like it's very rare you get someone just coming and just chilling.
Yeah, they want an experience.
Exactly. So they're, things break. People are calling you at odd hours, So I think the hardest part for me has been that is like there's no disconnecting from it, right? I don't know if you've ever heard I quit my 9 to 5 for a 24/7.
Yeah.
My bro, I'm on my phone all day, bro. Like people that are with me are like, yo, you're never in with 12 listings. Is like I'm like you just saw. I'm just getting requests, and then the guests that are there are always hitting me up for something. So that's one of the things, you know, that's just it's nonstop. And then also, you know, some people, if you have a full-time job, it's very hard, you know, unless you have a good team. So all those problems that I have, I could probably, you know, pass it on to someone else.
Delegate
and pay, delegate and pay somebody to do it. But I'm kind of like in a weird spot right now where like in the beginning, I wasn't making enough money to hire somebody. Now I probably am, but it's like I'm just kind I'm just kind of not there yet, you know. So I think soon I will be, but that's one of the things. It's just like the constant, like it's nonstop, bro. You know?
Yeah, I feel that. That's something I was actually talking about with a friend of mine that I actually had on the podcast a couple episodes ago, and we were talking about Airbnb, and he was saying, he's like, a lot of people think that when they get into Airbnb that it's going to be passive income.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's not, unless you scale it to the point where you delegate everything.
Yeah.
Right? But until you get there, it's kind of like a job, right? Yeah. You have to, it's not just renting it out to somebody on a lease, right? You have to take care of problems, something breaks, this, that, cleaning.
Yeah.
Right?
And then it's like I guess it's the mindset shift that we were talking about, right? So I come from a world where I know what my paycheck is every month. I know what my bills are, all my expenses. But in Airbnb, it's like, okay, I could have a $15,000 a month and I can have a $10,000 a month. You never know, right? That's business. But then the other thing is, you don't know the expenses that are gonna just pop up like surprise. You know, like AC broke. I think I fixed an AC in every house.
Yeah, wow.
And then people from the northern states, I don't know, or it might be people that don't own a house and they kind of don't know, you know, right? They don't know how to work a thermostat.
Yeah,
so like so you have to like buy Nest for all the house and lock it, and they're like, oh, the house, I have the house at 69, but the air's not blowing any colder. I'm like, that's not how an AC works, you know. So it's like they break it, you know. So. You know, I have heaters in the pool in a couple of the houses, and same thing, they'll leave the heater running all day and turn it off. There's a lot of things you can do to like minimize those things, but you know that it comes with learning the business.
Comes with the job.
Yeah, and you don't, you know, those are you run into problems and then you figure a system out how to fix them, you know, and it takes a lot of bumping your head to figure stuff out, you know.
That's the way that you learn the majority of times, especially starting a business. You know, a lot of people are just trying to figure things out before they jump in, and you're never going to jump in because there's always going to be new things that you think about, and you're not going to understand how to fix them until
you got to get
bump
burnt.
your head.
You got to
Exactly. So what do you think about the Airbnb market in the next couple of years? Do you think it's going to continue like this strong? Because right now, because of the pandemic, a lot of people have been traveling a lot. Do you think travel is going to stop, or people are...
So last year was so this is the slow season in Miami. Believe it or not. Yeah. Everywhere in the United States is warm right now, so you can go everywhere. Then, you know, the snowbirds come, the winter, it picks up. So last year, I didn't experience a slow season because since most of the country was closed down and Miami wasn't, people were coming over here like if it was the winter, you know. So last summer, you know, I was doing really well. This summer, it slowed down. It's still doing good, but it slowed down compared to last summer. But I'm actually starting to get booking requests for the winter already. Okay. And they're like they're big requests. You know, they're expensive nights still. So I don't see that. That's what I've seen right now. You know, just off my own, you know, data, I guess. Is that like that? It is slowing down because of that, because everything else is open now. But the winter for as of right now, it looks good. Like last winter we did really good. December to like April is like the hot months here. Yeah. It has slowed down a lot more in West Palm, but you know, I figured that would happen because Miami and West Palm it attracts a different crowd. Come to Miami. Yeah. Over there, it's more families, people coming for weddings, soccer tournaments, baseball tournaments. Someone's coming to visit their parents that retired and moved to West Palm, like stuff like that. Miami is just full throttle. Like everybody that comes is here to go
for
nuts.
Sure. Everybody wants to come here, man.
Yeah.
Right now, especially the last couple of years, it's become a very hot spot in the world. Where do you think you're gonna see yourself in like 5 years? like with Airbnb? How many properties do you want to
Man,
have? Or
hopefully my short term goal is just just to keep adding properties every couple months. Whether it's the rental arbitrage but
or purchasing?
I personally prefer buying them and owning
Yeah,
them.
yeah.
So I've bought 3 this year. Since literally since this month last year,
Yeah.
we've bought 3.
Okay.
My brother jumped in with me. My older brother Anthony. Um, we bought the first one in West Palm in June. Then we bought the second one in September. That one, my cousin Eddie also jumped
That's in West Palm too, right?
Yeah, that's this one
Okay,
right
that's
here.
this one.
Yeah. We bought that one, me, my brother, and my cousin. And then we just bought one in Little Havana.
Okay.
Right off Calle Ocho, right 2 or 3 blocks away. I bought that one with my brother, my cousin, and my best friend Carlos.
Okay.
So I just want to keep adding, man.
Yeah.
Just own as many as I can, and maybe one day get into buildings and so that's where I see myself doing, and then obviously just hiring a staff where I can kind of
delegating it and then just focusing on just purchasing, right?
Yeah, I want to be on that
point,
side
exactly.
of it.
Yeah. What would you recommend somebody that's trying to start and maybe they say, okay, I like the idea of Airbnb arbitrage, or I like the idea of purchasing a house and put it on Airbnb. What would you recommend for them to start? What would you recommend they have, like to have a certain amount of money saved up, or?
Well, so just like if you were to rent a house to live in, you gotta have first, last, and security. So you want to have that. Then you need about, if you want to furnish it nicely. Now, this is the thing about Airbnb right now. It's getting pretty oversaturated. A lot of people know you can make money, and so a lot of people are getting into it. Your listing has to stand out. My wife decorates our houses, and it's like everybody loves our houses. She puts a theme to it and stuff. The most
feels like a home.
Yeah, and the most recent one we bought in Little Havana has a tropical theme with the little neon lights that says Little Havana, and everybody loves it. So it's got to stand out. The days back in the day, maybe 2-3 years ago, you can just get a house, throw some beds in there, and it's gonna get booked. But not anymore. So your pictures really gotta pop. You gotta have amenities like this house does so well. There's a lake, there's a canoe, there's a pool table, there's a pool. It's a saltwater pool. So there's a lot of things to it. You know what I mean? And if your house is plain because you just want to get into it, you just want to get in the game, that's cool. Get into the game, but you might not maximize your profits. And I learned that. I mean, the first one that I put, which was our primary, has a really nice pool. People love it. That house does really well. But then I learned it with this one here in Wynwood. It was good because it was in Wynwood and it's close to all the nightlife and stuff, but it didn't have anything. So then we added an above ground pool, and then
you saw the booking spike.
You saw the difference, yeah.
Okay, for sure. So the amenities is a big part in it.
Yeah,
okay.
You got it. It's just got to stand out, man. It's like I look at it as like when I go on vacation, what do I want?
Exactly.
I want to book a nice hotel that has a nice pool, that has a bar.
Nice
I want some nice stuff. So that's what people that's what people look for. So you got to give it to the people. You don't want to. If you put a plain Jane house, you're probably not gonna do very well with it.
For sure, 100%. With the properties, you have one that's your favorite one, or that you say like this one, I love the most, or?
Well, I think my first one, because I lived there with my family and stuff. So
but you moved, so you're not there anymore at all.
No, I don't live there now. So I'm right down the street though from it. That one's my favorite one, just because it's like
the first one is
and the pool and everything. It's really nice. It's a good location. After that, I have a really cool one in Brickell. That it's just like funky. It's kind of cool. It has like a deck in the backyard, and it's kind of has like a little jungle feel to it.
Okay.
And it's walking distance to Brickell. I like that one.
And you only buy single family homes, or like duplexes, triplexes too, right?
No, I haven't bought any.
You haven't bought. You only buy single family homes.
Yeah.
Okay. You don't get into condos, right? No associations.
Not yet. Nothing yet.
Okay.
So I like I like this one too, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, this one.
Nice one.
Yeah, this one's dope.
Remember Eddie was telling me, because friends with Eddie
Yeah.
too. He was telling me how you guys were fixing it up and everything. You guys fixed it all up.
Yeah. So
Took a little bit.
this one's real cool, and it's probably like our most luxurious, like our
Listing.
most
Okay.
high end listing.
West Palm is a nice area too.
Yeah. So I like that one. The other one in West Palm, I like it also. It's 2 blocks away from the Intercoastal, from the bay there. So that one's really nice. Also, I don't know. They all have something to it. I have one in Brickell. I have one in Coconut Grove. I have one right here in Wynwood. So they're all in great spots. The Little Havana one's really nice also. They're all I don't know. I like them all, man. It's like having a kid. Like you can't pick a favorite.
Yeah, exactly.
It's tough.
I feel that.
Yeah.
Do you have how many do you plan to get in this year? By then this year,
Man, the thing is now with purchasing,
prices are going up like crazy, right?
Yeah, the prices are going up. So we haven't really been active, like looking and putting offers in. We were a couple months ago. We had a couple under contract that we ended up backing out. But at this point, I just really picky because of like what I was telling you, like the standing out.
The amenities, it has to have these certain things.
Yeah, so I'm kind of picky right now. I haven't found anything that we really like. We had one that we almost had under contract in West Palm also that was beautiful. And whatever, fell through last minute.
Yeah.
The realtor on the other side kind of messed with us a little bit, but yeah, I'm just looking. They gotta look like this,
Yeah,
like,
they gotta be. They gotta have what you want.
Yeah, that's how you get top dollar, man.
Yeah.
That's how you get top dollar.
It makes sense, You go to a hotel, like you were saying, you could either go to a motel, you're gonna pay way less for that one than if you go to a 5-star hotel with all the amenities that you're looking for.
Exactly. That's
100%.
That's what we're trying to give our guests. So.
All right, let me. We're gonna go to our sponsor real quick. We're gonna take a break, and we'll be right back. Our sponsor for today is Polar's Bottles. You can go to their website, buy a bottle at polarsbottles.com. POLERCEBOTTLES.com. They are vacuum insulated bottles that keep your drink cold for more than 24 hours or keep your drink hot for more than 12 hours. I use it every single day for my coffee. Keeps it burning hot to the tip, just how you want it. If you're walking down the beach or you're going to the beach for a Saturday, it'll keep your margarita cold as well. So go out there and check them out. And they're also 33 to 50% lower priced than the competition. If you use the code podcast10, you'll get 10% off your first order. All right, guys. So we're back here with Mikey, and I wanted to ask him about real estate prices and what he thinks, where they're going to be going in the long term or short term.
So I haven't been in real estate long enough to know the trends and stuff, but I will tell you that I've owned my house now for 6 years. My first house that we bought 6 years ago, I bought it for $250. Right now, all the houses in that neighborhood are going for $700 and up.
Wow.
Yeah.
Crazy.
So so the 2 houses that I purchased in West Palm Beach, I actually bought them with the equity from this house.
Yeah.
Right. So anybody that doesn't know how equity works is basically you have what you owe the bank, right? And then whatever your house is worth, the difference is your equity. So if I bought the house for $250 and now my house is worth $700,
and you paid off some of the principal as well.
Yeah, so let's say I owe $200 on the house and the house is worth $700 right now. If I sell it, I make $500 minus all the fees and whatever.
Yeah.
But if I just want to take out that money from the bank, which is basically borrowing it, I could take out that equity and
a line of credit, right? The HELOC.
You can either do a HELOC, a line of credit, or you can refinance. So you just get a new mortgage. So it's basically like you bought your house over again.
Yeah.
You just
get a better rate probably than you had when you
can get a better interest rate, or but you can only take out 80% of what the house is worth.
Okay.
Because the bank basically has to have some cushion there just in case. So when I bought these 2 houses in West Palm, I bought it with the equity from the house.
Okay.
And at that point, I think they valued my house, like this was a year and 2 months ago maybe. They valued my house at $500,000.
Okay.
So I think I took out like $120,000. I could have taken out more, but I didn't want to take out too much because it was my first time doing it, using the money to invest and stuff. So I didn't want to go crazy with it. And that was 12 months ago that my house was worth $500,000. And right now it's like at $700. So it's crazy. Yeah. The 2 houses I bought in West Palm Beach, the first one I bought is the one that I told you is close to the ocean. Me and my brother bought it for $480. And the reason my brother jumped in the deal was because he's in banking, and he had just banked like this group that's gonna build like these huge towers there with restaurants and like a little beachfront and all this stuff with like some very expensive condos. Like I think it's like 5 blocks from the house. So that area is a little outdated. It's, you know, whatever. There's barely any stores around. There's like nothing in the area.
There's room for growth.
Yeah, there's a lot of room for growth. So my brother's like, when me and my wife went to go see the house and I told him the address, he's like, bro, I just banked someone that's you know, gonna like make that neighborhood grow. We got to get that house. But we saw it as, in a couple of years, this house is gonna be worth, bro. There's nothing in that area going for less than $800,000 right now.
Wow, that's
so
crazy.
In
a
year,
you just doubled your investment.
Yeah,
probably more because you probably didn't buy it 480 out. You put
we put
down payment
for those deals. We put 10% down payment. So if you buy 50 miles from your primary home, where you live, right, you can do second home mortgage.
Okay.
So there's like guidelines for second home. I think like one of them is like you have to stay there for like 2 weeks, a year for it to like qualify as a second home. So we bought the house with that mortgage. So it was a 10% down payment. So we put $48,000 with closing costs and everything. I think we were like $60,000, and then furnishing and everything. It was like about we were all in like $80,000.
That's crazy.
Well, the profits of that house, we were able to buy the Little Havana house that we just bought.
Wow.
So that house, so my equity turned into a house that turned into 2 more houses. So with that equity, ridiculous. I was able to get 3 houses. Yeah. With the help of, you know, Eddie putting his percentage in, my older brother. Without him, I wouldn't have it, and my friend Carlos. So, no, same thing with this one. We were able to do this one. Same thing with a second home mortgage for Eddie. So Eddie put it under his name as a second home. We were able to get that one. So yeah, as far as like the home prices, my sample size is the 3 houses that I have. Yeah. This one we bought it for $630. A guy offered us $850 cash.
Wow.
And we bought this one in August.
Wow, that's
crazy. Not even. It wasn't even. I think he offered us like 2 months ago. It wasn't even half a year that we had it. Yeah. The guy offered us $230,000 more than we bought it for.
Yeah, it's the prices here are skyrocketing, man. That's crazy. You just made from $60,000 all the way to basically 400 something cash that you could take out of that property if you were to sell it. Yeah, that's ridiculous in less than a year.
Yeah, so what we're planning on that one. We're just gonna fix it up a little bit, and probably either take the equity out of it and buy more, or just sell it. If we can get top dollar for it, just sell it and buy more down here. Yeah,
makes sense. Yeah, a lot of people are moving from New York and California too, and they see like their point of comparison is like they get a studio over there for $600K. They come over here like I can get a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom house with a pool for $600K. Like I'm willing to pay $800K for it.
Yeah. You know? So I haven't been in real estate long enough to know where the prices are gonna go, or I wasn't around for the last crash or anything like that. But from what I've seen and what I've heard, you know, the different podcasts that I listen to and stuff, you know, real estate always goes up. You know, so it might come down a little bit again, but I mean, I doubt it's gonna come down to less than what I paid for it. You know, what I owe on it. And even if it does, then I'll just continue to cash flow on it monthly and deal with that later. You know.
Yeah, 100%.
If you're scared, if that scares you to get into real estate, then
don't get into real estate.
Yeah,
it's something that's not for everybody.
Yeah.
But so going back to Airbnb, what are some of the do's and don'ts of Airbnb? Right, like. Can you get in trouble? You know, I know, for example, you have a couple that you do arbitrage in. Like, I know some people that do arbitrage the wrong way. And, like, you were talking about getting the paperwork done, right? Like, getting the rental agreement that says that you can go out and do Airbnb. Because I know some people that do it in condos with associations that don't allow Airbnb. Now they can get in trouble and stuff. So what's the right way and the do's and don'ts of Airbnb?
The number one thing on Airbnb is just make sure your neighbors are happy, man.
Okay.
Like I told you earlier, you know, people are coming in every week, twice a week, new groups. You know, every 3 days it's a new group coming in, and they're coming in full throttle. They're here in Miami. They're on vacation. They want to have a good time. So, you know, your neighbors want to chill. That's where they live. You know, and now they have a different group. And like, you know, you live in the house. You might go in the pool once a month. Yeah. When they're on vacation, they're going in the pool every single day. That's every group and
music,
barbecue, all that. Yeah. So the main thing, you know, is the good thing about Airbnb. People can't book your house there's two ways they can book it. They can do instant booking, but you can set it to where they have to have a good guest ratings. You know, they gotta have 5-star reviews and all that. So if someone is instantly booking your house without asking you to book it, they're recommended by other hosts. The other thing is just, you know, make sure you send them the rules when they ask you for the house before you even approve them to book it. Send them the rules. Make them understand this is a family neighborhood. This is not a party house. You can throw them out.
Yeah.
All that stuff. You just, the number one thing for me is make sure nobody bothers my neighbors.
Yeah.
That's all I want, right?
Okay.
And then the next thing is that I got burnt one time was don't rent the house off of the site, because Airbnb covers you with insurances and all kind of stuff. So if something breaks, you know, you can claim it with them and all that. And one time, the first time it ever happened to me, like we said earlier, you got to get burnt, you got to bump your head, right? I had a group of people rent my house. They were there for like 5 days, but they were great, right? And then they hit me up and they're like, "Hey, can we do an extra day?" So I'm like, "Yeah, go ahead and request it on the app."
They're like, "Let's do it off of it."
So when they requested it on the app, it like one night ended up coming out to like let's say that night cost $300, it ended up coming out to like 400 something because of the taxes and everything, right? So they were like, "Hey, is there any way we could just pay you the 300 for the night off the site because they're killing me with the taxes?" So I'm like, "Oh, these people have been here for 4 or 5 days. They're cool. That's fine. Yeah, just bro." That last day, they turned into different
The
animals,
worst.
bro.
Wow.
Bro, vomit all over one of the rooms.
Wow.
They shattered a toilet. How the hell you shatter a toilet? Never seen that in my life. Two of them got in a fight with each other in the backyard. So my neighbors called me. That's how I was able even to see the vomit and all that. Bro, they went crazy that last day. Wow. So now I don't ever rent off the site unless I know the people, you know? Like, you know, if it's a cousin of mine that wants to rent for a couple of days, I'll do it. But yeah, just
wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, bro, they turned into different people that last day. So so that's a definite
learning experience there right there. Though.
And then the do is what I said, just make sure you vet these people and talk to them and let them know, you know?
Yeah.
What you're about and what, you know, hopefully.
You can put any rules you want in Airbnb.
Yeah.
You can put whatever rules you want. If you want to allow parties, you can allow them. If you don't, you don't.
Yeah, okay. So I've had people that have asked me to do baby showers, weddings, like wedding receptions, dinners, stuff like that. I allow those things, but I tell them, I'm like, look, the house sleeps 12. If you're going to have 25 people come for the party, that's fine, but only 12 can sleep here, you know, because it's just too much, you know?
Yeah.
And most people agree to it, but like for me, I'd rather tell the people, hey, this house, you can't, there's no parties, there's no this, there's no that. And they never write back to me and never book the house because they're already coming with that intention. So if you're telling them,
probably break something.
Like go find a house that allows it. I don't, you know.
Exactly.
And you know, you get your people that stay out in the pool till 1 a.m. and they talk loud and stuff like that. But as long as they're not like causing a ruckus, you know, it's cool. And so that's the main thing that concerns me, you know. But man, honestly, at this point, I think I've had over like 350 guests stay throughout all my properties, and I don't know, maybe I've had 5 bad guests, you know, that leave the place
overall
semi-trashed. Yeah, for the most part, you know, it's not that bad, you know, it's not.
Okay. Do you put any when you put the listing up? Do you have like a limit of days that you say like a minimum amount of days, or you don't do that, or you just say like you can rent it out for 1 day if you want?
No, so with that Beyond Pricing website that I use I set a 3-day minimum, but then it has gap adjustments. Okay. So let's say someone books the house from Thursday to Sunday, right? And they check out Sunday, and then somebody else books the house from the following Wednesday to whatever Friday. So there's 2 days in between. It's a gap adjustment, so they'll let someone rent the house for those 2 nights,
for that gap. Okay.
Yeah, so they'll adjust it for the gaps. But if there's 10 days available, you can't rent it for 1 day or 2 days. You gotta rent it for 3, and then they'll fill it in depending on.
Gotcha.
Yeah, there's another guy that I followed recently that he has a like a strategy that he uses that he calls it like boulders, rocks, pebbles, where like 3 months out he'll try
the
to
price is
fill.
way higher.
No, well that we already is done, but with the beyond pricing, but the boulders he considers it 5-day bookings or more. So for 3 months in advance. So like right now we're in July. So for October, November, like everything after October, you can only book for 5 days.
Okay.
So he tries to get as many bookings like that as
Yeah,
possible.
longer stays.
Then under 3 months is the rock, where he says, okay, now it's 3 day minimum, and then the pebbles are those gap fills that I tell you.
Yeah.
So he does it like that, where he tries
yeah.
to get the bigger bookings. You know, those are nicer because it's like
Yeah.
you get a 6-day booking compared to two
yeah.
3-day bookings. There's only one cleaning fee that you have to pay and one group you have to deal with. You know, so
do you charge a cleaning fee to your guests too?
yeah.
So every person
stays there. So here in Miami, I have a crew of 5 different ladies that clean my houses.
Okay.
And I pay them $150 per cleaning.
Okay.
And then so I charge a $200 cleaning fee, and the other 50 is for products and stuff. So that's what I use for toilet paper, paper towel, and all my cleaning supplies, laundromat, all that stuff. So, and they're just getting constant work. Like with so many properties, they're
they
basically
always
cleaning
have
every day. Yeah,
a new property to clean.
Yeah.
Okay, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So Mike, regarding we were talking about delegating work to people, hiring more people, and growing the team as you scale, right? Because eventually you want to be on the buying side of the properties, right? And like just focusing on that instead of focusing on all the other things. But the team that you've built right now, can you tell me a little bit about how you've structured the team and how like what everybody like does, what roles they play?
Yeah. So yeah, it's definitely as you scale in this business, it's very important to have different people in different roles that you can count on. You know, just like in any other business. Right now, my right hand man is my wife's uncle Louis. You know, he's the one that's on property. You know, he's handyman. He's checking on the cleaning. He schedules the cleanings. He's just making sure everything's running properly. You know, nothing's messed up in the properties. Nothing. He also has helped me get several of the deals of the arbitrage deals. Yeah. He's had his hand basically in pretty much all of them. In getting them for us and getting them under contract. So I talk to him every day, and you know I'm the guy on the phone all day. He's the guy on the properties, you know. So without him, I wouldn't be able to do it. It would be way too much work, you know. So he's what we call quality control.
Okay.
So that's
always important.
Yeah, that's his job. And then I have my wife, like I told you, she does the staging of the properties. Again, I can't do that, you know. Everybody's got to have their personal touch, and she does a great job. Like everybody comments on it, they love it. You know, if you don't have a wife that can do it for you, you know, you hire interior decorator or whatever. But you know, that's her role in the business. My brother, you know, he puts up the capital for some of these deals, the ones that we buy. Out of the 4 that I own, I own 3 of them with him. So to qualify for a loan, you know, for a mortgage, you got to have the salary for it. So he's the one that you know, qualifies for the loans, and he puts his money. And then again, he's just there with me. You know, anything we got to do to the houses, he's there to, let's do it. Let's you know, let's make these houses nicer. We got to
make it happen.
Yeah, let's do it. Who else? Eddie, my cousin Eddie, he's our realtor. So he's the one that, you know, he schedules the appointments to go see these houses. He does all the paperwork. He did the closing for the last one. So, and then he puts his percentage of the deal for being the realtor. He throws it in the deal as well, which also helps us furnish the houses and stuff like that. And then he, on the ones that he's part of, which is this lake house and the one in Little Havana, he's like my next guy to, you know, Lewis isn't on those properties. So Eddie kind of, you know, if the cleaning lady needs anything, or if, you know, something breaks and I'm at another house, Eddie will go by. And then my boy Carlos, same thing. He did the same thing I did, which was take equity out of our primary house, and he just jumped in the last one with us. So, you know, anytime you want to scale business, you need the money. And so right now, those are the guys that I have putting up the money with me, you know, and then we just save, man. We're like, we make these profits on our houses monthly, and we build a reserve, and we use
for the next one.
Yeah, we put it into the next deal, or, you gotta have money just in case, you know,
Yeah.
God,
Anything happens,
yeah,
anything
you
goes
know,
wrong, you have it there.
hopefully nothing goes bad, but
Yeah.
you know, you gotta have money.
You always gotta have money for a rainy day.
Yeah, so
For sure.
those are the main people that, you know, my cleaning ladies are awesome as well. I've had one with me, Lourdes, for since the beginning. She was my assistant at South Miami when I taught, and she's been cleaning my primary house for all this time, 17,
awesome.
18, whatever months. So she's great. What I like most about all this, man, is that, you know, I started off and I was the guinea pig of everything, and you know, it took a lot of risk for me to do it, but I did it. And now, like, everybody around me is part of it, you know. We're all doing it together. Even you know, my younger brother, he's not with us in our team, but him and his wife have one. My other friend Bryant, he just put his house on Airbnb, and he you know, followed. My wife's cousin Jeffrey, same thing. So I like the fact that we're all in it together.
Yeah,
like, you know, like
all you guys are benefiting.
Yeah, exactly. It's a family affair right now.
That's
so
awesome. That's
cool.
awesome to hear, man.
Yeah,
that's awesome. Well, thank you very much for being on the podcast, man. I'd love to have you here, and hopefully we'll get you on another one. We'll bring Eddie on next time, hopefully.
Yeah.
And I think we gave a lot of value to a lot of viewers.
Yeah, I hope so, man.
Thank you so much, man.
All right, brother.